house next to mine has always been a little off. Old Mrs. Gable lived there, a woman as brittle and dried as the autumn leaves that plastered her front porch. She was a creature of twilight, her days spent dozing behind perpetually drawn blinds, her nights a slow shuffle of movement I'd sometimes catch through the sliver of my own drawn curtains. Our houses were pressed so close, our windows faced each other like accusing eyes. The first few times, it was the tapping. A soft, insistent tap, tap, tap against my bedroom window, always after midnight. I'd jolt awake, heart hammering, to see her hunched shape silhouetted against the faint glow from her side of the property. She'd be so close, her face pressed to the glass, her eyes wide and unblinking in the darkness. I'd yelp, scramble for a light, and she'd be gone, leaving me with a racing pulse and the unsettling feeling of being watched. The police, when I'd cautiously called, dismissed it as confusion, an elderly woman needing care. Her family, they said, was working on it. Harmless, just confused. But there was a disquiet in the air around Mrs. Gable's house that the authorities seemed blind to. It was more than confusion. Then came the crosses. Small, crudely fashioned wooden crosses began appearing outside my window, scattered on the damp earth like fallen twigs. Dozens of them. One morning, as I cautiously stepped onto my porch, Mrs. Gable was there, her eyes hollow pools in her wrinkled face. She pointed a trembling finger at the crosses. "Leave those there," she rasped, her voice like dry leaves skittering across pavement. "And he'll never find you." He, who was he? The question lodged itself in my gut, a cold, unwelcome stone. The crosses proliferated. They adorned her porch, her gnarled rose bushes, even the peeling paint of her fence. They were everywhere, a silent, unsettling army guarding against an unseen enemy. Sometimes I'd hear sounds from her house at night, not the creaks and groans of an old house settling, but something else. A low, guttural murmuring, punctuated by sharp, staccato clicks that made the hairs on my arms stand on end. I told myself it was a radio, or perhaps she was praying. But the sounds were too organic, too hungry. The dread that clung to her property seeped into my own home. Sleep became a battle, my nights punctuated by the imagined tap, tap, tap against the glass, the phantom rustle of leaves, the unnerving whisper of her words. "He'll never find you." Or worse, "Did he look for you last night?" I tried to press her to understand. "Who is he, Mrs. Gable?" I de-asked, my voice barely a whisper, when I saw her shuffling in her yard. She'd just stare, her gaze unfocused, and then drift away, leaving me with more questions than answers. The thought of going inside, of offering real help, filled me with an icy dread that I couldn't shake. It was a primal fear, a warning from some deep, buried instinct. One night, the tapping started again, but this time it wasn't on my window. It was on my front door, a slow, deliberate three-knock rhythm. I froze, my breath catching in my throat. It was too late for Mrs. Gable's usual nocturnal wanderings, too late for any neighborly visit. The silence that followed the knocks was heavier, more oppressive than any sound. Then, from the darkness beyond my porch light, a voice, not Mrs. Gable's frail rasp, but something deeper, smoother, and infinitely more chilling, whispered, "I'm looking."